most challenging situations you'll run into when driving a truck for a living are encountering major hills, major grades in bad weather. Snow-covered hills present a whole different driving scenario to a truck driver, and the idea is to get up and down the hill safely and to get up and down the hill without losing traction. And there are a few tricks to that, and I can tell you a few of the things I do. Maybe you'll find them useful. When climbing a slippery grade, I like to have the axle interlock engaged. I wasn't quite sure what to call it, but that's I believe that's the technical term. The interlock engaged so that all the drive wheels are in touch with the drive shaft, and the gears. So you're using all your drive axles or drive wheels to try to pull you up the hill. Another thing I like to do is feather the fuel, not give it too much fuel when you're going up the hill, because you don't want it to spin the wheels. So you just gradually give the truck power. And another thing I like to do is keep the engine when climbing a hill. I like to keep the motor closer to the top of its RPM range. And that way, if the wheels do decide to spin a little bit, they can only maybe spin a couple hundred RPM before they hit the limiter, and then they can't spin any faster, causing even more problem for you. But if you're down in the low RPMs, lugging it up the hill, and you hit a patch of ice, and all of a sudden the wheels jump 600-700 RPM, well, then you've really spun the wheels, and it's going to be all that much harder to regain traction. Whereas if you've only spun 200 RPM, you can just ease your foot off the throttle a little bit, bring the revs down, the wheels will probably catch, and you can ease back into it again. Another good practice when climbing a slippery grade is not to follow the other guy's tracks up the hill. You're better off to cut your own trail, because chances are he will have shined up the road as he's passed climbing the hill. So you're better to cut your own trail. And something else I like to do is climb a wee bit on the right-hand shoulder. Chances are there's gravel on the right-hand shoulder. It'll help give you a little bit more of a grip. So you're going up the right-hand side of your lane, hopefully with your right-hand drive wheels in the gravel on the shoulder. Mind you, be careful not to get too far to the right. Just on the edge of the road, try to find that gravel on the shoulder. And sometimes that'll be enough to make a difference between getting to the top of the hill or not. As far as going downhill on a slippery grade in bad weather, there's only one secret to it. Slow. Go slow. Speed will just get you into trouble. Just creep down the hill like you're walking down the hill. Feather the brakes, use the Jake brake, but go down very slowly, and you'll never run into trouble. You'll only run into trouble if you get going down too quickly and then have to compensate for your speed, overcorrect, overbrake, and then put the vehicle into some sort of a slide. If you're creeping down the hill, you won't get into that situation. The other thing to do is if you're going to brake going down the downgrade, if you must brake, do it when the truck's on the straight stretch. Don't brake into the curve, because again, there you've got braking action and lateral movement at the same time, and on a slippery road, sometimes those can create a hazard and put you into a slide. So do as much of your deceleration as possible when the truck is pointing straight down the hill. So here's a bit of a mountain pass ahead of us here. Let's go up the hill in a manner in which we can successfully get to the top. So I've engaged the axle interlock here. So I've got all my wheels locked in to help me up the grade. And what I'm going to try to do is use a combination of horsepower plus momentum to get up the hill without spinning my wheels. Now you can see that thankfully the sander's been through here ahead of me. So we have some sand to drive on, and that's certainly a help. So I'm feathering the pedal, not going into the corner too quickly. I'm keeping my RPMs up a little higher than I normally do because I don't want to wipe my feet and then jump 700 RPM when she spins. I just, you know, if it's going to spin, I only want it to climb a little bit, not climb a whole lot and become a major spin. So again, not too fast into the corners. You want to keep the momentum up. Here's a bit of a flat spot coming up and a bit of a downgrade. We'll be able to pick up another gear and improve our momentum, but still keeping in mind that control is the issue because you don't want to slide off the road. You can see here's a bit of a downgrade, but you can't really take full advantage of it because of the corner here in front of us. You don't want to be going too quickly when you get to the corner. Also, keep your shifting to a minimum whenever possible, because it's when you shift gears and let out the clutch that you have potential to spin the wheels as well, and you don't want to be doing that. This particular grade has a stop sign right at the top of it, which makes it even a little more tricky. So something you want to remember is if you encounter a road like that, don't stop on the grade because you'll have trouble getting it going again. You're better to stop at the top of the grade once you've leveled out.